Okay, this is the chunk I'm gonna do this time. I'm just kind of scared. Oh, stop it. It's a big chunk, bro. That was actually a bad idea. Come on. Once you get, I told you I'd be underactivated eventually. Oh god, I'm so scared.
No, I just put it in the bowl. It's all melted now.
I feel like
This looks like...
it's making oof look in my mouth.
Should I do it?
Oh my god.
Hey guys, this is like a scary story time about when me and my friend were home alone and we were at a sleepover. And by the way, this isn't my story time, someone sent it to me. So basically this specific sleepover, like her parents actually ended up going out for the night, and like my mom thought that they were home but they actually weren't home. So like I was already a little bit nervous because I didn't obviously want my mom finding out that we were home alone because I wasn't allowed to be home alone. So basically, like, we were like, oh, we should watch scary movies, you know? So, like, we watched, like, a couple movies, and it was starting to get really late. It was probably, like, around, like, 1:20 in the morning. So we were like, oh, like, we should do prank calls and stuff like that, because the movies are kind of getting boring. But, like, both of us were low-key really scared. So, like, we were about to start prank calling people, and we literally started getting a call from, like, a no-caller ID number. So, like, we got really nervous, and, like, we just started to get this feeling that somebody was watching us, like, immediately. Chat, this isn't even my story, and I'm getting paranoid. Anyways, so, like, even though we were scared, we answered the call. And, like, there was nobody talking on the call. So, like, she used to have a cat, right? Like, and then, I don't know, like, I think it, like, kind of went missing or something like that. But, like, it definitely wasn't in her house anymore. So, basically, the litter box, like, we were in the living room, and the litter box was in the kitchen. So, we start hearing, like, scratching in the litter box. So, we were like, oh, hell no. Like, we went to go check it out, right? And we saw, like, a little shadow, like, move out of the litter box. And we were like, oh, maybe it's the spirit of her cat. But no, at this point, we were, like, completely freaked out. So, like, we had left her phone in the living room when we went to go see what was going on. And we completely forgot we were still on call with, like, the no-caller ID or whatever. And all of a sudden, you hear, like, a loud, like, shattering noise from her phone. But you can hear the same noise coming from outside.
When I was younger, there was a girl I knew who lived in our neighborhood. None of the kids liked her because they claimed that she stank and acted weird. When they talked about her, I kind of felt bad, so I became friends with her. Yeah, of course, I got the, why do you hang out with her? But she really wasn't all that bad. But her scent, they were kind of right about that. One day, she invites me over to her house, and she was very excited because she told me I was the first person to ever come over. And I felt so honored, so I went. But when I went into her house, it smelled very bad, almost nauseating, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be rude. She had a lot of uncles that lived with her family. Honestly, it was like 4 to 5 families in one house, to be honest. But she first introduced me to her stepmom. I said hi to her, but she just stared at me in disgust. Then we went to her room to play. As it got later, I told her I needed to go home. But she begged me to stay longer because she was scared. I told her I'd come tomorrow, and she just starts crying. She runs into her bed and falls into her sheets, which lifted her skirt. There were bruises all over her thighs. Let me know if y'all want a part 2.
Welcome to the Here's My Story channel. I'm Madison. One morning, I woke up to my mom yelling, Madison, Madison, get over here and help us. The cab's waiting outside. How do you think we're going to carry all these suitcases on our own? My mom was doing this to annoy me. She was taking my sister on vacation, and she wanted me to see them leave so I could suffer. My sister Charlotte grinned smugly when she saw me. I hope you're not jealous. You could have been coming with us if you were doing as good as I am in school. Without meeting her gaze, I said, I'm doing well enough at school. My mom jumped in. You're not good at math. Math proves how smart you are. Unfortunately, you take after your father there. But my Charlotte is just like her mother in every way. Charlotte turned to my mom, giggling. And I'm so proud of it, Mommy. My parents got divorced 5 years ago. It was my dad who wanted to break up. That's why my mom is still mad at him. She belittles my dad every chance she gets. I look so much like my dad, and that must be why she doesn't like me as much as she likes my sister. She turned to me as she was getting into the cab. You have 1 week. Study as much as you can. I'll give you a little quiz when I get back. If I see that you haven't improved, you can forget about vacation. Every time Charlotte and I go away, you'll be staying back at home like this. You see, everyone gets the life they deserve. When I went back into the house, I could no longer hold back my tears. I started crying. Actually, I didn't care if I was going with them or not. What really upset me was the injustice of it all. Yes, I'm bad at math. I don't get math no matter how hard I try. But I can't stand my mom treating me like I have a lower IQ just because I'm bad at math. The next morning, I woke up early. I found the best math sites on the internet and I started studying. Unfortunately, nothing changed. I thought I understood all the subjects, but afterward, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't solve the problems. Perhaps it would help if I got some tips from a friend who is good at math. I went to see Hannah, who's one of my besties. I told her everything. You're so good at math. Do you have any suggestions for me? I'm scared I'll start believing I'm an idiot soon, I said. Hannah consoled me. This has nothing to do with intelligence. Some people are naturally inclined towards math, while some excel in verbal skills. From what I understand, though, you really are in a pickle. I can suggest something else, but I'm scared that you'll make fun of me. Why would I make fun of you? As you said, I'm in a pickle. I'm open to any suggestions, I said, encouraging her to go on. Hannah said, do you remember the time my brother had disappeared 2 years ago? We were all so worried. A friend of my mom's took us to a lady. Don't laugh, but the lady? She was a witch. What? A witch? Like in the movies? I responded. Yes, she came from a lineage of French witches. She learned how to cast a spell from notes left to her from her great-grandmother. On a piece of paper, she wrote "come back" spell and gave it to my mom. My mom read the things on the piece of paper for 3 nights before going to bed. Blood to blood, I summon thee. Blood to blood, return to me. And my brother came home after those 3 days. Oh my gosh, that's really unbelievable, Hannah. Please take me to that lady, please. I will never forget this favor, I said, practically begging her. Hannah accepted. I was elated. I had a wonderful surprise for my mom, Charlotte, in mind. After a long bus ride, we arrived at the neighborhood outside of the city. I was surprised when we got to the witch's house because it looked quite normal. Hannah had called the lady in advance to let her know we were on our way. When we walked in, I was disappointed again because the witch looked very normal. She'd offered us tea and biscuits. We had a nice chat. Madison, you're so sweet. I'll be very happy if I can help you. I have a great spell for you, she said. Really? Will it make me smarter? I asked her excitedly. I think you're smart enough. It's normal to have difficulties with math. One cannot excel in every subject. I'll help you with your learning, not with your IQ, she said, and with a big smile on her face added, let's go into my study. It's time for some magic. I was astonished when we entered her study. This was definitely a witch's room. Candles were the only source of light here. There were so many old books on the shelves, so many jars everywhere. I picked up a jar filled with green liquid. The tag on it said, mouse milk. I shivered. I put it back immediately. The lady seemed different in this room, too. She had turned into a full-blown witch. Even the tone of her voice changed. She handed me an envelope. In a raspy voice, she said, there is a piece of paper in this envelope. Don't read it now. The name of this spell is knowledge absorption. Get in front of the mirror at dawn and say the magic words. You will learn everything easily with the help of this spell, but you'll forget it all at dusk. I took the envelope and thanked her. Hannah looked just as worried as I was. With quick steps, we left the room. When I woke up the next morning, I was so excited. To be honest, I was a little scared as well. I stood before the mirror just like the witch had told me to do. I took a deep breath. There was a yellow note inside the envelope. I took it out. Right as the sun was coming up, I began reading the spell from the note. In this place and in this hour, I call upon the ancient power. From dusk.
Storytime on how my little sister tried to kill me because she thought I was Mother Gothel from Rapunzel. Okay, so boom. My little sister was 5 at the time and I was 15. My mom was at work and I was babysitting my little sister and she wanted to watch a Disney princess movie. So since she watched the old ones already, I decided to let her watch the latest one, which was Rapunzel. So we watched it together and the entire time my little sister seemed fine. She didn't seem scared whatsoever. Or so I thought. Later that night, I woke up and my mom wasn't home yet, so I assumed she picked up a night shift. I went downstairs to get some water and I was singing the song that Mother Gothel sang. Suddenly, I heard something like metal, then I felt something sharp on my stomach. I quickly stepped back in pain, avoiding getting cut even more, and turned on the lights. And it was my sister, crying, thinking Mother Gothel came to take her away. I ended up having a therapy session with her and I cleaned my cut and we snuggled with each other. Now I'm 20 and she's 10. She laughs about it, but to me, that's the day
That made my heart sink. I didn't have enough money to pay for school, but I wanted to give my sister the whole world. I decided to ask the billionaire for a loan, and he said he'd think about it. But little did I know that Zoe was gonna wreck everything. It was a night like any other. She was sneaking back into the mansion at 3 a.m., and I was pushing her through the window when suddenly she fell right on top of their super expensive television. The screen shattered to pieces. Thankfully, Zoe wasn't hurt, but her dad was really mad. Who did this? Who?
Milo was cleaning and he slipped.
I could barely protest before the billionaire lost it. Do you have any idea how much this costs? There's no way I'm giving you a loan now.
What? Wait, what loan?
Please, sir. That money is for my sister. She can't go to school without it. No way. Figure it out yourself. I was so mad. I just stormed out of there and locked myself in the pool house. Minutes later, there was a knock on the door. It was Zoe. What are you doing here? Won't you be satisfied till you ruined my whole life?
I didn't know about your sister or all these problems.
Why should I tell you? You're just some rich girl who decided to make my life miserable. Please, just leave me alone. I slammed the door shut and stormed back in. If she wanted to have me fired, so be it. I avoided her completely. I just went to school and did my work like I used to. I applied for a few extra jobs to do over the weekend. I had to send Annie to school, somehow. It all changed when Zoe showed up at the pool house one night.
Please, don't shut the door. I'm sorry I acted like such a jerk. I brought you something.
She handed me a whole stack of money.
It's my pocket money. Dad tries to buy my love with cash. That should be enough for your sister's school.
I was numb with shock. I can't keep this.
You better, pool boy. I saved up all month for you.
No, take it back.
You can't make me.
She just turned and ran.
Use the money. Thank me later.
This girl was crazy. With her help, I was able to afford a decent preschool for Annie. I didn't have to get a second job, so I had free time to study. I even tried out for the school swim team, and I was so shocked to see I was the fastest kid there. I got in right away. Things at home were the easiest they've ever been. Zoe didn't ask me to help her when she was sneaking in anymore. She even babysat Annie while I was busy. One time, I came home to see Annie and Zoe wearing matching dresses. Zoe had shopped for her. I don't get it. Why? Intruder! Intruder! Someone's breaking in!
Wow, you're cute. Wanna jump in?
I pulled the pool cover over her head to trap her.
Ah! What are you doing?
I'm keeping you here while I call the cops.
Stop it! I'm Zoe! This is my house!
Liar! I've never seen you here.
That's because I just moved back in with my dad, you idiot! I lived with my mom before. Now get me out of here before I get you fired!
She crawled out of the pool angrily and showed me pictures of her phone with the billionaire.
Believe me now, pool boy?
My name's Milo.
I don't need to know your name if you don't work here anymore.
I'm sorry, I just never seen you before. Please don't tell your dad about this. I need this job. I'll do anything. She got so close that I thought she was gonna kiss me, but she said,
Anything?
Sure. What do you want? Apparently a lot. Zoe was wild. She partied a lot and stayed out late every day. I had to help her sneak back in each time. One time, she had a huge fight with her dad and ran away to spend the night with her mom. I had to lie in her bed and pretend to be her. So embarrassing. I did all of it for my sister, but as she got older, her needs started changing. Baba, when can I go to school like you? I want to play with the other kids. That made my heart sink. I didn't. When I was 4 years old, all I wanted was a huge family. Dad, why don't I have a mom? All my friends have moms, brothers, Sisters? How dare you say that to me? Am I not enough for you? Just go away. My dad was always like this, angry and irritated. He never got along with anyone, and he got fired from every single job he took. We were so poor that he pushed me to school in a stolen shopping cart. No way we could afford a car. When I was in the 10th grade, Dad came home with a crazy surprise. A baby sister from one of his girlfriends. I was over the moon. He didn't even bother naming her, so I did it. I'll call you Annie. Isn't it a cute name, Dad? He didn't care. He was too worried about how we were gonna have enough money to raise a baby. Since he couldn't hold a job, he had to borrow money from a local billionaire. Only problem? My dad took the money and ran. He just left me and Annie alone. The billionaire was furious when I told him we couldn't pay him back. I gave him thousands of dollars. I'll have to call the police, and you two will be sent to foster homes. No way! They'll separate me from my sister. Please don't call the police. I can pay you back. I can work for you. You're only a stupid boy. What will you do? I'll clean the pool, do the dishes, mow the lawn. You can slowly take your money out of my paychecks. Please, just give me a chance. It actually worked. The billionaire let me work for him in exchange for a small salary and a place to live in his pool house. This pool house was way bigger than any apartment I'd ever lived in, so I was thrilled. I went to school every morning with Annie strapped to my chest and worked at the mansion all evening. Everything was going well until one night, when I was just about to sleep, someone started screaming outside. Papa, I'm scared. Stay here, sweetheart. I've got this. I ran out to see a strange, beautiful girl jumping into the pool.
Woohoo! Cannonball!
Story time on how my teacher bullied a kid. So my teacher was not the best teacher. If someone didn't agree with something, he'd get really mad. Like, super mad. So one day, this kid in my class was disagreeing and talking back to the teacher. So the teacher was doing the same, but way worse. He didn't even tell a principal on how this kid was behaving. This teacher fought back and said, well, maybe you should get those new clothes. And by the way, this kid did not have a lot of money, so he was going through a lot. The whole class was shocked. Everyone was so surprised that the teacher wasn't fired. The teacher has done a lot of things before too. And this kid got so angry, he went up and told the principal. A few days later, we saw that we had a new teacher, and we were all so happy. So next time, don't bully a kid.
My sister and I have always been mistaken as twins. I'm 19 and she's 16, but we have the same height, skin tone, and similar voice. She also has a habit of being a copycat, from the way I dress to hobbies, even piercings. I know it's cute if you look at it from the outside, but sometimes it gets annoying. Like, yeah, we are quite close too, but why does she always happen to pick up everything I pick up? One afternoon, I was tidying up some costumes in my college showroom and found a rather cute brown and pink wig. It looks like a mushroom. I put it on, think it looks rather funny, so I snapped a picture and posted it to my Instagram. I received a text from my sister asking if I really cut my hair. I didn't mention it was a wig. While I somewhat have a feeling that she might copy that too, I lied and replied yes. I came home that weekend and lo and behold, my sister emerged with the same silly brown and pink bob cut, except this one is on her permanent hair. She was surprised that I arrived with my hair still long, then realized that I lied to her. She was furious that she had to cut that silly hairstyle because she thought I had it. Our parents think that it's a really bad joke and wanted me to cut my hair too to make it up to her. So am I the asshole for telling my sister I cut my hair when I really didn't? My fiancé and I are high school sweethearts, and we've been together for about 12 years. We were engaged for around 3 when he passed away due to an accident in the beginning of 2020. A few weeks ago, his brother came to visit me, and he's planning to propose to his girlfriend. He asked me if he could have the family's engagement ring. The ring my fiancé gave me is a family ring which has been in the family for generations. I have been wearing this ring for almost 3 years, and it's a symbol of our relationship. I don't feel ready to give it up. When I told him this, he got upset and said it's a family ring and it belongs to him now that his brother is dead. I told him to get out. I called his mom to let her know why I wanted to keep the ring. She told me she wouldn't have minded if I had been married to him, but I wasn't, so I'm not part of the family, and therefore I should return the ring. She said I'll move on one day, and it's unfair to hold on to a ring that I will never wear again, especially a ring that belongs to her family for generations. I would have at least considered giving back the ring in a few years. I just can't bear the thought of parting with this ring now. So I told her I'm sorry that she felt that way, but her son gave me this ring and I'm not giving it back. Since then, his mom and his brother have been spamming my phone with messages and calls about how I'm trying to steal their family ring. So, am I wrong for wanting to keep the ring?
Let's make a marshmallow slime. I tasted these marshmallows and they were musty. I added blue, yellow, and pink dye to the slime butter base. Mixing all the slimes. Great, now I have food dye all over my hands. Time to construct the slime. Enjoy some nice fluffy ASMR.
So when I was in high school, a lot of the cool teachers would let the seniors out early last period so they could run to their cars and just go home. But my school had this janitor who everyone called Patchy because he had an eye patch. And before anyone comes for me, it was used endearingly and he knew about it and he called himself Patchy. Anyway, Patchy did not like when the seniors left early and he would zip around on his golf cart like around the parking lot trying to stop people from leaving early. Now the gig was if Patchy caught you and was able to stop you from leaving, like going in front of your car or like driving his golf cart into you, he would give you a detention slip and you weren't able to leave early and you had to stay after school. So the funniest thing would be at like 2:30 p.m. you would see the seniors like crawling like underneath cars, hiding behind bushes. Some people would just go sprint into the parking lot and try to outrun Patchy and his golf cart. And the best is if like someone got caught by him while he was handing out the detention slip, everyone would run.
Story time. So there was this one girl in 7th grade. Let's call her Lexi. Lexi was a pick-me girl. She was always like, boys are less drama, you know? And Lexi used to sit next to me in class. And I was throwing a Halloween party later this week. I decided to write a list of what we're going to be doing at the party in class while Lexi's sitting next to me. She looks over at my notebook and sees it. And she was like, I'm invited, right? I looked at her and I just didn't say anything because I didn't want to tell her she's not. She got really excited and was like, I'm going to be wearing a devil costume. Actually, no, I want to be the angel. And at the end of class, she told me to send her the location and information on her Instagram. And I remembered that Lexi had a lot of spam accounts and accounts she doesn't use. So I decided to send her the information on one of the accounts she doesn't use. 2 days later, Lexi sends me.
When I was in elementary school, there was this girl named Emily, and I'm using her government name this time. So Emily, in my head, I thought she was so cool. She had style. She was just lit. But when I'm reflecting back, she was a bitch. She was a bitch. She was mean. She didn't like anybody. And she only hung out with like the other mean girls who were not even popular. How are you gonna be mean and you're not even popular? Anyways, fast forward a couple years, I'm in the 5th grade and it's the summer going into the 6th grade. So if y'all didn't know, I'm an apartment kid. We grew up in the apartments and y'all, we was bad as fuck. Everybody in the apartments was bad. Anyways, so one day Emily moves in, right? And she is so excited and happy to be there to see me because it's been a while since I
things my ex-best friend did and we still stayed friends. Okay, first, she stole, like, I want to say a lot of money from my parents. I'm not saying, like, oh, like, $20. I want to say, like, it was, like, 1,000 maybe, because my parents had this stack of money in their drawers in their bedroom, and they would notice that the money would disappear, and they started accusing me of, like, taking the money. I'm like, I didn't take it, and, like, it kept disappearing, like, kept on disappearing. I'm like, bitch, if you're gonna accuse me, like, the fuck, like, have some backup, like, have some proof. So then they start to install cameras in their room, and they notice that my friend went in there, stole, like, a bunch of money. She did it, like, I think 5 times and stole, like, $500 bill. It's actually kind of crazy. Ew, it looks like mustard. The fuck? Another thing she did is basically we went to Chili's and she really wanted a margarita, but she was underage. So the bartender was like, yeah, we can't serve you a margarita. And she got so mad, and then she threw something at the worker, and then it caused this whole thing where basically the worker sued her and we had to go to court over it, and I had to testify. There's a whole video about this incident. She would feed my dog chocolate, like chocolate chips, and thought it was funny. Like, bitch, my dog could die. The fuck? Like, why don't I feed you some horse tranquilizer? Me and her were out, and then she, like, bought an Uber, and she's like, oh, sorry, this man's gonna come in, you can wait and buy yourself an Uber, and left me stranded in a city I've never been to for 2 hours till I could buy an Uber. And mind you, she didn't even apologize. She's like, oh, you should have known that was gonna happen. And you should know to close your legs. Sometimes she would go into Starbucks without even ordering and just grab whichever drink she wanted the most that was, like, waiting for mobile pickup. Yeah, she would just grab whichever one she wanted that looked the best to her, and she didn't really care. I mean, like, yeah, I get it if you're, like, broke, but, like, really, is that really okay? No, but would you do it? Yeah, maybe. Me and her were, like, super close. I would say, like, best friends. And one time, like, I had to stay till, like, school ended, but she could leave early. So she went to my house, and she's like, oh, where are your keys? And I'm like, I don't know. They're, like, on the, like, the black thing. Like, I have a dresser right there in front of my, like, front door, and it's a black thing. And she's like, oh, okay. And takes my car, and she goes shopping. She buys all this food, parks in a handicapped spot. Then I got a ticket, and she made me pay for it. I'm like, the least you could do is, well, first not park in that spot and take my car, but you could at least pay for the ticket with the money you stole from my parents. The fuck? There's so much more I can do. Comment down below if you want a part 2. And this is the slime.
Me and my cousin Zachary decided to go camping in the woods, and we're pretty sure we saw a skinwalker or so. We're looking, and we can't find this little girl. And the closer we're getting to the sound, it's the sound of the little girl was more rugged, more like a grunting noise. I'm like, Zachary, there's something not right. Like, there's something just not right about this. And Zachary was like, Preston, shut the fuck up, and let's keep finding this girl. And I was like, oh, okay. 20 minutes go by, and there's no sight of this little girl. I mean, we don't know where the fuck she's at. But we do hear some animal eating. And when we get closer to the eating noise of this animal, we see a tall, lengthy creature eating a deer. And me and Zachary just slowly walked away. We don't know what it was, and Zachary still won't talk about it. And we did hear a loud screech, like a crazy screech. But that's about it. Damn.
What would be the best slimes for experienced slimers? I think that icy slimes and clear slimes would be the perfect texture for those who are experienced, but I just want to make sure my customers are comfortable, and if you're a new slimer, then I suggest going with a butter slime or a cloud cream slime. Those are really easy to handle. But these are just my personal suggestions. You definitely don't have to take it, but it's definitely easier if you're a new slimer or if you're an experienced slimer. How I created a viral TikTok trend. So this happened 2 days before 2021, and I was still in the monstrosity of a year, 2020. So I decided to post this slime storytime video. It was a story about mermaids, so I posted it, and then an hour later I checked on to see how the video was doing, and it reached 5.6k views. And when I tell you I was freaking out, I was freaking out. So I kept on posting them, and the slime storytimes are still thriving to this day. I see them all over my For You page.
Let's try to make the ugliest slime in the world. Gyu,
Lots of random food dye. Mixy mixy purr. Nobby see why does it look pretty well failing at my job. Ugh. More random food dye, let's hope this works. Why is this Loki really pretty? More food dye. Oh yes, this looks good and algae. Nah, some random weird add-ins he. Wait, this is really good LMAO. Mix mix mix. Please, this is actually really ugly, something 2016 me would make. Okay, but this ASMR is a big W.
Yup, and this story really gets me riled up to this day because I don't know why it's anyone's place to say this to me, but when you play with slime, you can obviously see my wrists and stuff, and when I was playing with slime, they commented on my video saying, "Why do you have so much arm hair?" I was literally so upset and I started crying for no good reason. I'm sure that person was honestly just having a bad day, and I don't know why they started hating on my wrists because they went on a full rant in the comments.
I'm a 32-year-old woman who can never go back to my new dentist after 2 visits because I'm an idiot. My dentist is a very nice and professional man. Our first appointment was going pretty smoothly until he made some innocuous remark about us being strangers. My immediate reply was, "Oh, you're not a stranger. You've been inside of my mouth for 20 minutes. I did not intend to make a joke. His face turned red, and he was clearly embarrassed, but continued on like a true professional. And we were probably both relieved when the appointment was over. I had my second dentist appointment today. I actually mentally prepared myself to be a model patient who didn't say anything weird. He had been working in my mouth for about 5 minutes when he started to seem really uncomfortable or something. His face was red, and he was breathing a little heavier. I was a bit concerned and also confused. Like, how could I have embarrassed him this time? I had hardly spoken.
I am going to be telling you a scary childhood story. When I was 2 years old, my mom passed away. My dad wasn't in the picture, so I went to go live with my grandparents. My grandparents lived in a super old home that was built in the 1800s. I was a very imaginative child. So when I told my grandparents that I used to see people in the house, they just didn't believe me. There was one lady in particular that I would always see. She would sit at the end of my bed and watch me fall asleep. I wasn't scared of her because I thought she was an actual person. Plus, I was super little, so nothing even crossed my mind. At this point, I was like 4 or 5 years old. I remember her talking to me constantly. She even sang me the song Rockabye Baby to get me to go to bed one night. Every single day when I would get home, I could see her in my window. At that point, I thought she was just waiting for me. She just wanted to be my friend, right? But as I got older, things started to get really weird between me and her. She wasn't this nice lady anymore. Stay tuned for part 2.
Hello, I got a package in the mail from you guys that I did not order.
Oh yes, hello, we sent you those slimes because you liked and commented on and shared all of our videos. Thank you so much. Also, when do you restock? We restock this Saturday, and if you buy 1 slime, you get 100 free.
Am I wrong for shortening my workout after a man got on the elliptical next to me? I, 27 female, like to go to the gym later in the evenings so I can have the place mostly to myself since I don't like how claustrophobic it feels when tons of people are there at the same time. I live around the block from a chain gym and go there most nights to use the elliptical for a while. When I got to the gym tonight, the entire row of ellipticals was empty, so I grabbed the one all the way on the end. Everything was fine during my workout all the way up to the last few minutes. A guy walked into the mostly deserted gym and got on the elliptical right next to mine, which I thought was weird since there were a row of about 12 others that were all empty. It made me a little uncomfortable, so I shortened my workout by a few minutes and hopped off to grab a disinfectant wipe. When I got back to wipe down the machine, the guy stopped pedaling and asked me what my problem was. I was caught off guard and just stammered something about how I was done with my workout, which was basically true anyway. But he said something about me treating him like a predator for no reason and then put his headphones back.
Every time I got in trouble as a kid, I would fake my death to make my mom feel bad for whooping me. Story time while we make foam or fluffy slime. And I'm bringing the story times back because so many of y'all want them. So back to the story. Now I got my butt whooped. I mean, the worst whooping I ever had. And it was because she found out that I shoved her toothbrush up my butthole. And when she found this out, she was like, Preston, why would you do that? So she whooped me bad. And I was like, you know what? I got to get back at this woman. So obviously when she went to work and it was the weekend, I act like the house got broken into and I just flung down the curtains. I act like someone broke in and, got my ass. And that's exactly what I did. And I destroyed the house. I mean, I broke mirrors. I broke the door. I broke everything. And I just laid there like this. And when my mother came back from work, it looked like that someone broke in and, got my ass. And Mom was like, Preston, no! Ah, Preston, no! Who did this to you? And I was like trying so hard not to laugh. And she literally called the police. The police got there and I was still pretending that I was a goner. And then when all the police surrounded my body and the medics, I went like this. Ah! Gotcha! And my mother went, well, bam! And she's like, how dare you? This is your 6th time doing this. My mom was a very gullible woman. And she also worked on the weekends. But that's it. You like my slime? I love it. But that's it. Damn. I tased my mother with a taser because she forgot to get me McDonald's when I was 10 years old. Story time. Y'all already know I have an addiction to McDonald's. When I tell you I have an addiction to those McDonald's fries and their cheeseburgers, holy shit. And of course, when I was 10 years old, I really craved it because that's when the addiction really started. My mom had to go to the store and I asked my mom, I was like, hey, can you get me McDonald's if you're going to the store? And she was like, sure, Preston, I can get you some McDonald's. I was like, okay, bet. And she's gone for about 2 hours at the damn grocery store. She probably went to the mall for shopping for her clothes. I don't really remember. But when she finally came home, I didn't see no McDonald's bag. And I was like, Mom, where the fuck is the McDonald's, queen? And she was like, I forgot. And I was like, oh, what do you mean you forgot, mother? And she was like, well, I'm just gonna cook. I'm sorry, Preston. You don't even need McDonald's anyways because you're kind of fat and nasty. And I was like, oh, bet that. So I knew my mother had a taser in her nightstand drawer. So I just was filled with so much anger that I went to her nightstand drawer, grabbed her taser, and I just went up to my mother and tased her. And she fell to the ground. And she beat my ass, of course. That's it. Damn.